Welcome back to another edition of DAWG Culture Podcast. I'm your host, Power Coach Paul, joined by my co-host,
I'm your host,
himself,
Power Coach Gunny.
Yeah, Power Coach Gunny. Here you go.
Boy.
Dog guy, show him your cup.
Oh, shout out to my wife.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
You need to pop off of there. And the brains behind it all, Mr. Mark Foster, Wakanda Forever.
Indeed.
X Factor.
Right? So Mike always usually likes to make me ask him how was his week. Before we start anything.
Bring it in.
So let me get to that before we get to this. Go ahead.
Week was crazy. I was out, dog. I slept on the couch for 4 days. This might be TMI, but
without being in the doghouse, right?
Yeah, well, whatever. But look, dog, bruh, I was asleep on the couch since Sunday. I ain't gonna tell y'all how long it took me to get up and take a shower, but I was sick. You know what I mean? Soup and tea and ginger for four days straight, dog. The good thing though, cause like I don't know if I said it on here, but my white blood cell count is finally at an average number since it's been 7 years, and every time I went back, it's been like 2.8, 2.9, 3.1, 2.8. And when the weather would switch, I would always get hit with a cold and a fever. And the fever would knock me out for like a week and a half to 2 weeks. I would get all these blisters in my nose, like back like I was in the hospital again. And the good thing about it this time, first time, because last year I was like, this is the first year I ain't got a fever. Then I got one, but no fever. And I took my foot off the gas. I said, I know what I need to do. Because usually I would go work out and be like, I'll just sweat it out and I'll make it worse. And it'd be like a month. But this time I said, I know what I need to do. I'm going to chill. And I stopped everything and I just started nursing myself, fluids, vitamin C. Shout out to ET and them because I got Organifi going. I'm like, look, it's superfoods. It didn't work the first time. I was like, this ain't helping me. But I know the actual like superfoods are good for your body. So I've been taking those. I just ordered some immune booster superfoods. So I'm like, oh, I can't afford to be out of commission. But I know I'm rapping. But what helped me was it helped me like put things into perspective, knowing like I do need time to like recoup, readjust, to like get away from everything, because this whole week when I kind of put social media on strike, I was able to like think, and like my imagination
was thinking.
I was thinking, bro. I was like actually making moves on the company instead of in the, like, it's so crazy. I wasn't posting videos. I wasn't worried about content. And I was just like, yo, I can do this, that. And I was literally making business moves, which shows me that I need the team to do what they supposed to do. Like, I need a social media person. I need a lot of pieces so I can stop being the pieces and I can just, do what I'm supposed to be doing. So, yeah. I like this.
Hey, shout out to the audience. You heard the
request. Here you go.
I've been saying you heard the request. So I mean, if you A1 in something, man, and you can feel you can bring value to the table, definitely hit them up, man.
Let us know.
What about you, Mark?
I'm glad you asked, Paul. My 8th year anniversary this year. I mean, this week with my wife, man.
Say nothing.
I'm not that type of guy, bro, but I appreciate it. You know what I'm saying? I know when hard, I know that. Yeah, appreciate it, man. But yeah, man, it was on Tuesday. So, man, normally this time it's kind of weird because we're usually in Disney, for this week. That's been like our routine.
Love Disney.
Love it, bro.
Mike ain't never been to Disney World. He talking about I love Disney.
No, I said he loved Disney.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, love it, man. But of course, with everything going on, we're pretty much here. But we kind of we made the most of it, man. Eating a lot of good food, just a lot of much needed connection time. With me having my newborn son, having a teenager, you know, with us having the job promotion, just being pulled everywhere, man. It just felt good. Literally, dog, honestly, similar to you.
See?
Having some time just to just sit back and just chill, put things in perspective. So I had a really good week, man. How about you, Paul? Mike ain't gonna ask you, so how about you, Paul?
Definitely. I don't remember my weeks. I don't remember.
True indeed.
Crazy Pete.
It gets like that, dog. Like,
yeah.
Oh well, let me tell you this. My son turned 5 this week.
Easy.
A little birthday party. You know what I'm saying? He was delighted. He got some toys. You know, he's running through the house with them joints right now. So it was good. It was a blessing, man. So
who was the first one to wish him happy birthday?
It was you. It was you. Yeah.
Oh.
You know you was on your sick bed. It was you.
Funny how that goes.
Yeah. Right. So shout out, God. But before we get started, I wanted you to really break down just in a quick overview of what DAWG Culture is about, Mike. A little bit of your story, you know, from the stage 4 to birthing the DAWG Culture itself.
Yeah.
But just give some of that to our audience so they have a background of what we're going to be talking about, what this is about, and how it can serve them.
Well, look at you, so professional. What this is about, how it can serve.
Well, thank you.
Yeah. So DAWG Culture is it is my life journey, if you will. So I guess you don't know, but I played football my whole life, and I was introduced at 7 years old. And at 7, I had this big dream. I was like, yo, I want to play in the NFL. And I don't even know like how big the NFL was back then, but I was just like, I'm going to the league. So from 7 years old up until high school and college, and I actually had the opportunity with the Redskins in 2007, got let go, and moving into arena football, they was like, hey, we need you to lose some weight, get you another workout. That was my agent. And, you know, I was playing at a high level, and, you know, people that play at a high level, it was like, yo, he's a dog. And, you know, I was labeled a dog, not my whole career, but I got to a point where I put in so much work that I walked around and that's who I was. And that was my mindset. And with that mindset, it's like, no matter what happens, I'm not going to let an obstacle stop me from where I want to go. And if it's a wall in front of me, I'm going to run through the wall, right? So one situation that happened real quick in high school, it was my senior year, and I was like, this is my time. I didn't play at all, really, from like freshman to junior year. And then senior year, I was like, this is it. But I never really worked out. And I just was like, I figured, you know, I played my part, and my time is coming, and my time is now. And then, funny, my coach, like, transferred a running back in that was a year younger than me and was like a track star. And I'm like, oh, okay, that's crazy. So I'm going to have to run track, or I'm going to do something because I'm slow. And if this guy's coming in, I'm not going to make it. So I started training, and my mom took me to this trainer, shout out to Craig Mitchell, and we trained all summer, and I threw up every day. And it was times where I was like, yo, I can't go on. But after I would throw up, I was like, oh, I got another tank. So during that time of me training, I started to realize, like, it's so much more in me than I think. I just need to push myself to the level to go get what's left in the tank or what's available. And so when I got into my second year of arena football, my body started acting crazy. And I realized, well, I didn't realize it, but I found out by going to the hospital, I was diagnosed with cancer. It was stage 4 cancer. And they was like, yeah, stage 4, we got to act fast because this is not good for you. I'm like, okay, cool. So I started taking chemo, and then I stopped taking chemo. And I stopped because I'm a little bullheaded, and, you know, I get that from my pops. So the chemo was actually harming my body as well as helping it, but it would hem me up. And I would be in the hospital for about 7 days, additional 7 days, along with the chemo days. And like, I would be chemo for 2 weeks, on and off. And then I would have to go back for 7 days with this fluid in my lungs. They wouldn't let me go because my blood pressure was up and down. So I just got upset. And I said, I don't want to do this anymore. But somebody gave me a way out. It was like, hey, you can do this holistic thing. And so I started the holistic thing. But here's the first time my doctor told me that I would die, right? So I said, Doc, I'm gonna take this holistic route because I think, the chemo's done what it's done, and I'm gonna finish up with this holistic doctor. She said, if you stop taking this medicine, you'll die. And that was like a challenge to me. And I'm like, oh yeah? So it just confirmed my decision. So I was like, all right, cool, I'm gonna do that. So I went to the doctor and I started doing this holistic, this regimen, no meats and jumping on this what is a bouncy trampoline. So I'm jumping on this trampoline. I'm looking crazy, honestly. And
hey, you had like some type of charcoal rock or something.
It was called bitter. They was called bitters.
Oh, bitters. The bitters. Okay, go ahead.
Bruh, I would have to take these bitters that were so nasty. Like, it took me probably like 15 minutes to like take them because I would take them, drink water, take them out my mouth. But I had to do this for 4 months, dog. I lost like probably 20 pounds, but it didn't look like bad. It was just like I was cut up because I wasn't really eating meats. Long story short, the holistic thing stopped working. So my symptoms came back. Then I had to go back to the hospital. And then they had this I told you so look on their face. But I'm like, all right, whatever. So I go back and I start taking the chemo again. But this time the chemo, it's not working. So my body is actually rejecting the chemo. And then that's when the battle like really started, because then I got to a point where the doctors were saying, there's nothing else we can do for you. Go take a cruise. You don't have much time to live. So the dog mentality that football created, I had to go there. I had to tap into that mental, that way of thinking, because it was kill or be killed. And when I was on the football field, believe it or not, I would always, I prayed to God, said, God, I want to be the hardest hitting football player ever. And the mentality that came with that prayer was kill or be killed, because it's a barbaric sport. And when I'm out there, it's another man who has put in so much work, and he thinks that this one-on-one collision, that he's going to win. So I'm like, it's either I'm going to give it up or I'm going to get dealt with. So I had to give up everything, every single blow, every single play, every single rep. I had to give everything I had every single time in order for me to know that I was going to win. So it was like, I didn't care about the consequences. I just know either I'm going to kill the situation or I'm going to be the one on the other side of it. So that's how I approached cancer. I was like, dog, I'm not going to let it beat me. Now, there were ups and downs, I promise you, but the overall mental battle was, although I may get knocked down, I have to get back up because I have no other choice. And that's what kill or be killed. Like, you have no other choice. It's go. And regardless, if you have breath in your lungs and power in your body, you get back up regardless every single time. And with that mentality, I came through on the other side, of course, with God, because I'm a big believer in Christ. But with that, they say faith without works is dead. And I believe the works that we have to do is more than just prayer. Like, we have to actually take the steps forward. And for me, because I was so hemmed up in the hospital, my works was in my mind. I had to win the mental battle. Like, I'm not going to die. I'm not going to let what I see consume me to make me believe that I'm another statistic. So there's a lot that goes into it. But the mental battle was like, yo, I'm a dog and I'm not dying. And my thing is, like, I will die to live before I die. Like, I will die before I die. And that's the attitude and the approach that I took. And so, boom, fast forward, and I start working after that. So yeah, cancer-free. God is good. And then I get out of that and I start working for the government and talking to my man Mark. I'm like, I can't do this no more. At first, I was just excited to be back in life and paying bills. And I was like, I can't do this no more. Like, I'm more than this desk. Like, I'm sitting here in an uncomfortable situation. Of course, I'm happy to be alive, but now it's to the point where it's like, I have no purpose. Like, I'm just like, it's the cycle. Every single day I wake up, Metro, then to work, then back to work, then web surfing. I'm like, this ain't it. And Mark was like, yo, just make your own. And I was like, yeah, make your own. Didn't really know what I don't know what, I didn't know what he was talking about. I was like, yeah, I'll make my own. And eventually I got fed up. And around the time I got fed up, my mom would always tell me, you have to tell your story because you don't know who you can help. And I was like, Mom, I'm not going back to that place because it was such a dark space that I didn't want to revisit it or relive it, or because that was a time in my life where I cried so much. And nobody really knew what I was going through because I didn't tell anyone. But it was such a dark place for me. Like when I got out of it, me and God was beefing. Like I was rebelling. I was doing everything that you would say that I'm not supposed to. I did it. Whatever it was I'm not supposed to do, let me do that because you took football from me. So now, and that's a whole nother story, placing the blame on God, not understanding that life happens and we just have to counter whatever life is giving us. And that's the attitude, the perspective part, right? So, but my mom was like, yo, you got to tell your story. And I'm like, I can't, Mom. Like, and I won't. I refuse. I was refusing it. And I started bumping into cancer patients. And I'm like, yo, I'm not going to let them go through this on their own. So I would pull them over to the side. I hear them. I'd see them in my job, like crying and hugging other people. And they go, it's going to be all right. And I go to their office. And I'm like, yo, can I talk to you? I had stage 4. I understand what you're going through. It's not over for you. And I wouldn't even say it on no inspirational stuff. It was just like, I have so much like passion and purpose in my heart about like cancer, the monster. Like it is a monster that tries to make you believe that it's bigger than you. And I have so much like, I want to fight it. Like physically, if it was a person, it'd
like
be
you about to bite your lip off. With
every time I see him, it'll be on. So like when I feel like it's a bully, and when it's telling somebody else like, yeah, you ain't gonna make it, like I want to step up and be like, oh, I've been here, done that. It's possible. So I just wanted to show people that it was possible because not saying I had the worst situation, but I was told that I was going to die several times. The cancer was from my neck, like starting here all the way down to my ankles. So it consumed my entire body, stage 4, and it took over. They said a size of a tennis ball in my chest, softball in my back, golf balls under my arm, and it was all over. So I'm like, oh, I had a pretty tough situation. So if yours is anything like mine, then you can be like, you'll be okay. So I started doing that. And then eventually I got furloughed and I was like, yo, I got married. I'm all over the place. I got married, then I got furloughed. And I'm like, so another dude decided that I won't get paid today. And like, he just made the decision and now I can't get paid. Like, I'm a man, dog. So in order for me to like go back home and look at my wife's father and be like, yeah, I don't know. What am I going to move in? Like, what's going to happen if I never get paid again? So I'm like, I can't leave my future up to someone else. And then Mark was like, I just kept hearing it, like, make your own. And during that time, I was just like plotting and thinking like, and I don't know why it was just DAWG. And I was like, DAWG movement, DAWG. Because I kept thinking, did it all with God, right? Because my mom, oh, that's crazy. My mom, she wants to write a movie about me. And she said, against all odds, God did it all. God did it all. So it's kind of in there. But I just kept saying, did it all with God. And then eventually I started to break down, like, how though? Like, yeah, I did it with God, but how? It was the DAWG mindset. And then I kind of just broke down every passionate word and placed them with the letter. And that's how I got desire, attitude, will, and grind. And from there, man, I LLC'd in the furlough, like wasn't getting paid. And I was like, I don't care. You know, like Mark, I think, I don't know if you gave me the 10X book to read, but I just was like, yo, I just gotta go. And it's just like any other process in life, you just start, you know what I mean? And then the more you start, the more you find what you need along the way. So like when I started my training, I just started. I was like, I need a trainer. Then my mom was like, oh, here's one. And then I went there, and then he was like, oh, okay, yeah, I got a track guy. So it just all started coming together. And DAWG Culture was born in my drought, like financial drought. And then I was like, how many people like have I helped just like by running into them? Because people come back to me, like this one lady came back crying, like you just showed me that I was going to live. You know, like you had stage 4 and like you really helped me because I thought it was over. And then once I seen that somebody with a more intense situation made it through, then I knew it was possible for me to make it through. And so from there, I'm like, well, if I can help her, then I can help the world. And that's what DAWG Culture is about. And it started with just like helping cancer patients win the mental battle. And then people start, yo, I'm not battling cancer, but I'm battling something else. And you're really helping me. Someone had COVID. Dog had COVID, hit me up afterwards and like, I just want to thank you because I've been battling COVID for a week. I was on a respirator. I got to learn how to walk again. But I just remember your videos. I was just watching your videos and you was just like continuing to inspire me to keep going. And I'm like, dog, this is crazy. So now it's like my purpose is way bigger than Mike Hill, like in how I feel. And now DAWG Culture is about inspiring the world to think with the mentality that says that I will not lose regardless of what's going on around me, what's happening to me, because now the attitude part, what happens to me is happening for me. So it's all about perspective and it's all about like not quitting. Like the person that doesn't quit cannot lose. And yeah, so that's the brand, DAWG Culture. And then on the other side, it's athletic apparel because football created the dog mentality in me. So I'm like, all right, well, let's run with both of them. And that's what I've been doing. In a nutshell.
And that's today's episode, folks.
Duly noted, right? No, so there's a lot there, right? And not to say we're breaking it down. I know we were giving an overview, but that was really just so everybody kind of knew, and we'll break it down every week. We'll give you a quick synopsis of, you know, what we mean by that, right? To wear the dog is really to embody the mindset, right? You're not just throwing on a shirt or a hoodie because it looks cool, you know, it feels nice on your skin, you know what I mean? But it's also to, you know, help you embody this mentality, right? You know,
what is it?
Talk about it all the time. Embody this mentality. What is wrong with you? Well, I always gotta enunciate myself.
The mentality.
Mentality. What did I say?
Mentality. I thought it was mentality. I don't.
Mentality?
Yeah.
Yeah, mentality. This guy.
So laughing on me.
Something we wanted to bring to the stage. You know, this is actually for the beginning, but we kind of just scratched that. But I'm gonna introduce it anyway, and we'll do it every week. All right, which is tell me if they got that dog or not.
Oh.
All right. Tell me if they got that dog. I would say, you know, tell me if it's doggy. However you want. We'll work on it.
Yeah.
All right. LeBron James, 10 NBA final appearances. Tell me that he got that dog. Tell me if he got that dog.
Look, bro. I haven't watched Bronny in a while.
Right.
From the Bronny, I know he's a great he's a great athlete.
Right.
Super doggy athlete.
Mm-hmm.
But the dog, I seen him go up against Kobe, and Kobe was like, "What's up?" And I ain't seen him bark back. So I can't really say the boy got the dog in him. Like
he the biggest dog in the yard right now.
Right now, until somebody else like, "What's up?" I'm right here. Like I don't know. Like he because it can be cultivated. Like I promise you that. But the Bron I remember when it was like me and Kobe was like, well, let's see who the best then. I didn't see that from him. I didn't see the Tyson, like, what? Like, who the best? Like, I didn't see that. You know what I'm saying? I just didn't see it.
I don't know, man.
I don't even. I know Jordan, though. Like, you watch the Jordan documentary, you hear how he talked.
I think we're comparing apples and oranges. Like,
nah, we comparing one thing.
Different guys.
Yeah. I mean, I kind of agree with Mike on that a little bit, man. And like, I'm a Bron fan, but like, even when he went to the Heat, the dog of that team was D Wade.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
yes.
Yeah, bro. Like, I think Bron, and again, that's my guy. Clarify that. I rock with Bron, but I always think back to that Boston series, man, when the Bama checked out. And it's like a dog will just never check out, bro. Like,
you can't,
bro. Like, seriously. No, you know, so it's like, just like Mike said, like, I'm kind of like in his boat. I don't watch ball as much as I used to. You know what I'm saying? I will say that much. So, like, I don't want to speak out of, like, you know, pure ignorance. But what I will say is that, like, yeah, it can be cultivated. Like, I feel like he's a dog in other arenas of his life. You know what I'm saying? Like, building his brand, you know, the things that he's done. But, like, he's very gifted. He's very gifted. And through that gift, he honed it and cultivated it. I'm not going to sit there and take that away from him. But, like, mentality-wise, I don't know, man. I'm on the fence. I'm going to keep it G. I'm on the fence.
So would you say Anthony Davis is more of a dog than LeBron?
Again, I'm speaking out of ignorance right now. I don't watch ball like I used to, bro.
I tell you who a dog.
That is the question.
Damian Lillard. You want to see a dog, like, when he be like, he make the shot, this much. Like, he don't care.
Yeah.
That's a dog.
Shoot.
I see a dog. Like, you real recognize, you can see a dog from a mile away.
I'll go a step further. Like, Westbrook is a dog.
Oh.
Dog. Unleashed. Uncontrollable. He need to hone that in sometimes.
Yeah.
That's a dog right there. So, yeah. Dame Lillard, that was a good call, bro.
For real.
On to the next segment.
Yeah.
Shout out our dog of the week, Usama Young, a good friend of ours. We played against him in high school. Still got a posterized of me at his feet in the mud. Went on to play 8 years in the NFL, and now works in the NFL PA office, I believe.
Good stuff.
And he's done phenomenal work. Is doing phenomenal work. He was on, I think, Good Morning Football a couple mornings ago, just doing some amazing work.
With my wife's shirt on.
With your wife's shirt on, correct.
Human shirt. Shout out to that. Shout out to Boo Boo.
Great friend of ours, man. We want to shout him out as Dog of the Week from the work that he's doing with his foundation at Largo within Maryland, and also helping NFL players with their process, right? Mm-hmm. While they're in the league and after. Great guy, phenomenal guy. We want to shout him out as Dog of the Week.
That's love. Big dog. Big dog.
Last week we got to talk about desire, right? The D within the dog, right? We broke it down. We kind of, gave our bits and pieces on it. But this week we want to graduate to the A, right? The attitude, and really kind of giving our listeners and our audience how important that attitude factor is, right? Mm-hmm. You can have desire, but what about this attitude piece? And I really wanted you guys to speak on that. Yeah. How important do you think the attitude portion is?
Yeah, well, I personally, always trying to jump in first. I personally think, attitude is like, because I said last week, they all matter on the same level. But attitude kind of comes not first, but it's perspective. And the way you see a situation will determine how you respond to it. So, and I'm going to just touch lightly on it, then we'll go in. But attitude for me is seeing that this is going to work out for my good and it's not, detrimental to my life. If I can see every situation as opportunity, then I can like open my mind to start thinking like, okay, so how can I leverage this, right? So attitude is key. Seeing everything as an opportunity and perspective and like staying positive. Because if I can see it as a good thing, then that's a positive situation. And now I can only give positive vibes to my situation. Didn't want to say situation twice. But yeah, that I'll start there.
Mark, what about you?
So I look at DAWG culture as a table, and how each part of that is like a leg of the table. So like, even though it can stand on its own, it becomes wobbly if one's not there. I know, Mike, I try, right?
Easy.
So, so with the attitude piece, man, it's Mike, I ain't gonna lie to you. You pretty much summed it up when you were talking earlier, bro. Like, it's literally about perspective. This is it's an author. So since I never shared this with the podcast, at one point in time, I used to have favorite rappers back in the day, right? Mm-hmm. Now I got favorite authors. So,
yeah, heavy.
Right. Heavy. So, like, one of my favorite authors is Ryan Holiday, and he has this book called "The Obstacle Is the Way," and it's a real.
Wait a minute, man. Wait, hold on.
Go ahead.
I just picked up on that. I'm like, what's he saying? That's heavy. That's heavy. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
So the book, The Obstacle Is the Way, man, it's definitely about paradigm. It's definitely about your perspective on when something comes up to you.
There you go again,
with the
bro.
big words.
I was like, what the hell? What the hell is paradigm?
But, you know, when something comes up in front of you, you know, how do you deal with it? You know what I'm saying? Like, do you see it as an opportunity to grow and become better than where you were before? Or do you just turn back and just pretty much inevitably come back right to that obstacle? Mm-hmm. You know, so like, it's a classic example over the weekend. Matter of fact, my wife will get a kick out of this. When we got to the National Harbor, sitting there talking in the car, to be honest with you, we had a little bit of an intense conversation, right?
Yeah.
And you know, I'm sitting there brushing my hair and stuff, I'm getting frustrated, and then I was like, you know what, let's just get some food. So get out the car, lock the door. I don't know where my keys at. My keys are in the car, right? So I'm like blown, bro. And you know, now she's like, this dude, like, can't do anything right? So, you know, at that time, I gave myself a choice. I'm gonna either say, this is just building on top of what quote unquote was already a bad day, quotes, or I'm gonna allow this to be a situation where now me and my wife can have a little bit of solitude and we can talk intimately while we wait. It's an opportunity to get clarity on a situation. It's an opportunity to have a story to laugh about. You get what I'm saying? Like, life is neutral, but our attitudes towards the things that happen to us is like either the make or break on some real stuff, bro. It's literally the make or break. If a situation happens where you feel defeated or you become a victor. And that's what I got to say about it. I have some more stuff, but I have to kind of go back into the archives and figure out what that was.
Nah, that's dope.
A good friend of mine told me, you know YB, Yarn, right, Mike?
Uh-huh. I mean, yeah.
It ain't really about positive or negative, right or wrong. It's just about how you feel about it. At the end of the day, you know what I mean? And that'll make you move, left or right, up or down, sway you in whatever direction. But he's like, feelings are feelings. And it ain't even about right or wrong. A lot of people start getting mad at people because they feel this way, they feel that way. At the end of the day, it's just like how you feel about it. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, that's just really what it is. And, going back to what Mark said, it's neutral. Everything's really neutral. Mm-hmm. So I really like you guys' take on that. But as looking at attitude as a main ingredient, right? How do you think most people carry that? You know what I mean? Like, when I say that, how do they carry their attitude on a day-to-day basis? Just based off basic conversation, how they move towards different things. How do y'all think that attitude portion is lacking or excelling? Go ahead.
I'm gonna jump in first, Mike. I don't know, man. I really feel that society has created a victimhood, coddling mentality with a lot of people, where it's really easy to point the finger as to why you're not where you want to be. You know, let's address the elephant in the room, whether it be the president, whether it be the way that my parents raised me. Mm-hmm. At some point in time, especially because I would like to believe that people listening to this, we're adults, there's a certain level of ownership that like you just have to just take hold of and understand that like sometimes you're not going to get. That's why I love poker so much. This is a bit of a segue. A lot of people say that life is chess, not checkers. And there's this book, I always reference in books, but there's this quote in this book that said life is actually more poker than chess. And the reason why they say that is because with chess, if you're better than me, Mike, in chess, you're going to always win because that's just straight strategy. Yeah. But at poker, you can't control the cards you're dealt. You only control how you play your hand. Crazy. You know, and the reality of it is that sometimes you have to know when to fold. Like the strategy in chess is not about winning every hand. It's about minimizing your losses, but maximizing your gains. When I do have a good hand, how can I leverage this to make sure I get all your chips? You know what I'm saying? But when I know that I got my back against the wall, am I humble enough to say, you got this one? You know?
Oh, crazy.
All a fool, man. All a fool. Okay. Man, like on some real stuff.
Yeah, life is like poker.
I'm gonna say that to lead the day.
I'm like, what? Like, just watch the podcast. Mark said.
Like, nah, really, man. You know, that's what it literally comes down to, man. And that's one thing that I those are the lessons I take away from the poker table, and I just applied to life. But like, it really comes down to just this victim mentality, in my personal opinion. And I think
you think that's the economic base.
Say it again.
The world profits off of drama.
Oh, most definitely, bro.
You know, profits off of people acting like victims.
Most definitely.
Not problem solvers. Problem solvers get paid.
If kind of like even like, let's keep it G, bro. Like, I'm not going to discount medicine. You know what I'm saying? And you'll see where I'm going with this. I'm not going to discount medicine. Medicine, like, I believe in science. Mm-hmm. But like, Mike, you just said it a little while ago. Didn't they say that we're at the point of no return?
Yeah.
We can't, our hands are you know what I'm saying? We're backing off of this because we can't do anything else. Mm-hmm. That was self-reliance in a nutshell, bro. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But the thing is that self-reliance isn't profitable. You know what I mean? And like you just said, you just hit the nail on the head on Paul, like real talk, like liberating us and showing us our true power that we have is not a profitable thing. Plain and simple. So like, it's at society's best interest to keep us reliant. And it's like the moment you just understand how much power you truly have, man, you'll always be in this situation where, again, it's that person's fault. It's my brother's fault. You know what I'm saying? Hey, Mike, it's your fault that I'm not doing what I need to do. How dare you, sister? You know what I'm saying?
How dare you?
I think that sums it up, bro. I think that's where we at right now. Not to say us, you know, individually, but as a whole. Go ahead.
The bars were so crazy, I forgot the question. What was the question?
What type of attitude do you feel like most people have right now?
Oh, okay, yeah. So to monkey back, you know, Paul, we was doing the monkey back and not the piggyback. Right. I don't do piggyback. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's pretty much a lot of people love to point the finger because that's the easiest route. Like, oh no, it wasn't me, it was Slim. And then the more I point the finger, the less I'm able to take control of my life, because now it's not because of me that I'm in this place where I am. It's because of somebody else doing something and I'm the result of somebody else's action. So if I can blame everybody else for my situation, I can be okay with my situation because it's not my fault. right? And so when we start taking ownership of our lives, it's like, yo, I have the power to change this. And once we realize we have the power to change it, he was like, okay, well, let me stop blaming people and see like what taking ownership looks like. So once I started to say, okay, yeah, this was my fault. Cause this happened to me. Cause I wasn't like quick to blame, but when it was a tough situation, like, oh, well, X, Y, and Z happened, and this is why I responded this way, as opposed to saying, okay, yeah, I messed up. Simple and plain. Like when I mess up now, I just mess up and I take it, because when I take it, I'm able to see, okay, so how can I make sure this doesn't happen again? Because it's all about, honestly, it's all like ownership is a part of the process. And it's the part of the process of us understanding our true power and our true value. And when I can say it's on me, it allows me to look in the mirror and find out like, what are my flaws? And this is the hard part. And this is why people point the finger, because looking in the mirror saying it's on you is the hard part.
I want to let you cook, Paul, but I wanted to get this out of there real quick. I was talking to my cousin about this earlier this week, and it touches on what we're talking about right now. Society has painted the picture that 1 + 1 always equals 2. So what ends up happening is that we have this attitude that like, if I do this, I should get this desired result. So if, for instance, if I jump on the elliptical right now and I work out for an hour, I should see a result on the scale. But the reality is, and the perspective that needs to be had is that 1 + 1 + 1 + 1 + 1 + 1 + 1 + 1 equals 2. Like sometimes in order for us to get the desired result, we have to put in the time and the effort. And that right there, like success is a lagging indicator. It's not a 1-for-1 thing, but more often than not, we get confused thinking that like, well, if I post this video, I'm gonna get a lot of views. Nah, it's if I post this video every day for the next year, I could potentially get a lot of views. You know what I'm saying? But it's like, you're not entitled to the gift because you put in the effort one time, or you put in the effort 2 times or 3 times, you know? So even with that attitude we're talking about, is even an attitude of, what is it? You feel self-entitled. The attitude of self-entitlement. You know, I woke up early this morning, you know what I'm saying? I put in the work. Why don't I have the results? But it's a time thing, and it's about consistency. Go ahead, Paul. I wanted you to jump in.
No, I mean, with success, it takes however long it takes. And that's why so many people who are successful just tell you to stick with the process.
Right.
Because, you know, the world has told you, like you said, 1 + 1 equals 2. You know, and you really can't look up and it's there. You got to just keep working until it appears. You know what I'm saying? And expectations and hope that is. And doing your self-assessment, you know, as to, you know, am I moving the right direction, right? But you know, one of the biggest things I want to say, I saw this little kid, they call him the hustle kid. Y'all may have seen the little clip. Wallow dropped a clip a couple days back. And the kid was basically saying, they call him Corey Jackson, right? Basically saying like, man, you know, all that stuff you saying you want, you ain't gonna get it. All that stuff you saying you gonna do, guess what? You ain't gonna do it because you ain't dedicated, right? And he was basically saying for the most part.
Was he watching the car?
Yeah, he was watching the car.
I stopped watching that jump. But
yeah. He was basically just saying like, a lot of people desire a lot of stuff, right? But when we talk about this attitude, I really think the attitude is unwavering. You know what I'm saying? Like the attitude isn't really going up and down, left and right. And I'm not saying it's not going to change, but it's more steady. Can I be steady and dedicated and keep the desire? You know, I know Inky talks about that too. Like, are you committed to what you say you were committed to long after the mood you set it in has left? Because you could get gassed up at an event and then watch a clip and you rap, but then when it start raining outside and you say you're gonna run every day, you gonna go out there?
Yeah, you're gonna
when
pull
it's
up
cold out there. You know what I mean? Because the situation is gonna change. The energy is gonna change, but is your attitude consistent enough and committed enough, dedicated enough to what you said you was going to do to make it through whatever the circumstances are at that time? You know what I mean? So that's how I look at attitude. Is it is it consistent? Is it,
yeah,
you know, on that baseline where it doesn't matter what happens, I'm gonna stick with it.
right.
You know what
But
I mean?
see, the process is, I feel like we have to literally take emotion out of it, because you have your highs, you have your ups, and then you have your lows. But if I get attached to every high and then the low come, I start to get attached to the lows. You know what I'm saying? So we have to literally understand, like, this is point A to B, and
Right.
what's in between is like it's a part of the journey.
I feel like, you know, emotion is looking at an energy in motion, right?
Cut me off.
We need emotion.
Cut me off one more time, P.
You know, that's my go-to. We need emotion, right? We do need emotion, but it's saying I'm not emotionally driven. Like, it's even kill. Like you said, it's even kill.
Right.
If it's high, I'm good. If it's low, I'm good.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And that's kind of like where I was getting at with the attitude.
Yeah, and I even learned that, remember, P, we had a situation where, like, I bought all this gear, and I had an event, and I bought like probably 100 plus hoodies, man. I like paid a lot for it, and I was like, oh yeah, this joint gonna sell out, because I'm at a football game, like dogs everywhere, you know, thinking crazy, but not crazy, but I was just thinking, like, this is it, and this is like gonna help people see, you know, dog culture in the sports room. And it didn't have, like, I sold one hoodie. I had a table. I had everything set up. I had people working, dog shirts everywhere. And like 2 people came up to talk to me. And I was there for like 3 or 4 hours. And I'm like, dang, like, it hurt. Like, hurt. And I was like, man, what I expected didn't happen. So because I didn't meet my expectations, what I should have expected was to just show up and just do what I said I was going to do, regardless of what happened. Make the, like, this is an opportunity. If no one's talking, let's reach out and start talking to people. Like, don't let what's happening to you determine the outcome of the situation. So because, like, I was so caught up in my feelings because it didn't go the way I thought it was, opportunity could have been missed. But I was able to bounce back and be like, you know what? I'm about to just start giving hoodies out. So let's see who was the dog of the game. So boom, let me run up to him, take a picture with him, here go a dog. And then now that actually created what I do now. Like, go to games and be like, where the top dog at? And now people actually see me and be like, oh, dog culture. Oh, I'm about to, yeah. So they can get some gear because they understand where the brand is going. But had I let, like, my expectations take control in the moment, I wouldn't have probably, like, figured that part out until later. But afterwards, I was still hurt. Like, I was still attached emotionally to what I thought was going to happen. And because it didn't, and Paul was like, yo, it's a part of the process. Like, you needed this to happen, because if you didn't, then you wouldn't know how to approach the next situation when you're a vendor. Like, now you know, all right, I need to find out what's my demographic. Who's there that has money that's able to actually purchase gear? Or is this even a good situation to get into? Like, am I going to waste time, or can I use this time to do something else? So I believe, like, being attached to like, your emotions of the situation can actually, like, hinder the process of you using your imagination to figure out, you know, how to make this opportunity work for me. You know what I mean? So, like, yeah, you're right. Emotions have to be eliminated, and then process has to be the only thing on our mind. Whatever happens today is necessary for me to get to tomorrow.
But you know what? So I'm gonna throw something out there though.
Mm-hmm.
The reality is that we're not robots, and we are emotional people. But where I do agree with you guys in the consistency portion, or the consistency aspect, is I think we need to change the paradigm of what are we measuring. Am I measuring me getting to this certain goal, or am I measuring, did I do this portion of the process? So, like, the reality is that, like, a great example, if I'm logging in my food diary and have a calorie restriction, and I'm waking up every morning and working out, I'm inevitably going to, lose the weight. I'm inevitably going to get in shape. Mm-hmm. But if I wake up every morning saying, am I at my ideal weight? You know what I'm saying? Am I at my ideal health? Right. I'm measuring the wrong thing.
Right.
Did I do my log? Did I do the exercise? And those are the things that I can have my victories and celebrate. I can be proud of myself for showing up and doing what I need to do. You can celebrate, like you said, you can celebrate in the aspect of I went to the convention or I was at this place. You know what I'm saying? I can check that off. Not the result. I can't get too attached to a result because at the end of the day, that's outside of my control. But what I can control is my system in place, and am I checking the boxes of what I need to do in the system? And am I doing it long enough and to the point that I am able to hear an echo to say, oh, I bang with your brand, bro. You know what I'm saying? But like if I show up every day and I do the process, that's what I get. I really, really agree with you guys in the sense of consistency. But I think I'm learning this through our meditation. We can't eliminate emotion, at least in my opinion, right? But learning to acknowledge and then ask the question, is this serving me? So like my wife's gonna blow me. My daughter's gonna get on my nerves. I'm being honest, bro. Like again, you know, they're gonna get on my nerves. Yeah. But the reality is that in that moment, I can't suppress. Because when we suppress, we know what ends up happening. Things start to blow up. So I need to acknowledge the fact that, like, yeah, I'm upset, but what am I upset about? You know what I'm saying? Let's start to like pull out the weeds of what's going on. And once you're able to acknowledge it, then I feel like you're able to maneuver a whole heck of a lot better as opposed to only being proactive as opposed to reactive. Yeah. If I'm reacting off of emotion, that's detrimental. Boy, what you have to say, bro?
No, but I think it's like the same thing because that's emotional intelligence, like being able to control it. Right. Not saying that it's not there, but just saying that I'm not going to let it,
Look at you talk about emotional intelligence.
But like not saying it's not there, just saying I'm not going to let this feeling determine my actions.
Got you.
Right? So, but it's not easy though, because we're like emotional creatures. In our culture, we're like taught this is how you respond. You know what I'm saying? Like somebody cut you off, this is what you do. Somebody bump you, this is like you see somebody you don't know, this is how you look at them. You know, for no reason. So it's like understanding that I am my own person and my emotions are my emotions. So I don't have to be upset when something doesn't go the way I thought it was supposed to go. Like it may hurt at first because it's a process, but like understanding like you are in control of like you. So I don't have to respond a certain way because, and then once you start to control like those feelings, now it's not that I'm suppressing it. It's more so that I'm just controlling how I feel. And I'm not such of a creature that like lets my emotions dictate what I do. You feel me?
That makes you more animalistic though.
Right. Yeah, because I am an animal.
Right. So to close out, I know we wrapping up, went a little bit over, but for the most part, man, and looking at attitude, which is very important in this process, right? Understanding, usually even when we talk about men, our inability to acknowledge our emotions or control, that's just not men, people in general, right? Yeah. Emotions just all over the place, attitude just all over the place, right? To the point where sometimes it's intolerable for people that's around them. I think it's important that we are aware of our emotions, aware of our attitude, but also know that, we need to have it disciplined. We need to have it in a place where it's consistent enough through the trials and tribulations that we're going to face. And that's a part of the dog mentality, right? You need the right attitude, but you have to have it in a place where it is going to be consistent throughout the struggles that you're going to face, right? Mm-hmm. So, any closing words for you guys?
Yeah, I always got closing words.
Go ahead.
And like you said, throughout the process, the attitude has to be locked on, like, because in everything we do, like, there's a why attached to it. So I believe everything we do with purpose, and if you understand the bigger picture, that kind of holds you, that holds that attitude in place. Like, what am I doing this for, right? And and I can only talk about, what I know. And that is my current journey. When things may not seem like, okay, I'm in year 2 in expectation, right? And I think I'm supposed to be here by now. And even though I'm doing what I believe is necessary, if I keep my why in front of me, this is for the people. Regardless of where I am in the process, my why is to help people. I started out like wanting to help people win the mental battle in life. And it helps me when people reach out to me, like when cancer patients reach out and be like, yo, you are really like inspiring me. Please don't stop. The end goal doesn't even matter. You know what I'm saying? The why is what keeps me going. You feel me? So I want people to understand, like, you're going to get to where you want to go, because the equation, which I believe works, is when you don't quit, you don't lose, right? But if I can keep my why and my reason in front of me, then I won't worry about what happens around me. I won't worry about the ups and downs, because I know tomorrow I got to get up and do it again because it's bigger than me. And then that's how you stick to the process. If I can get up again tomorrow and figure it out with my why in mind, then I will get to the end goal. I will get to where I want to go. But then now my why keeps me like locked in the process. Like, this is like, we have to endure it. Like, we have to fall in love with it, because it's so much that we get along the way. Like, we get the character that we need. We get the resilience that we need. We get everything that the process like is created for, to build us to a place where once we get to where we want to go, whatever level that is, now we can sustain it. But you can't get it without the process. And the why kind of keeps your mind on, why am I doing this? And it keeps my focus, like, every day. Since this isn't about me, I'm going to get up and do it anyway, because I know that somebody else is relying on, my consistency, my dedication, and then the process takes care of itself. So focus on the why.
Real. And I feel my last closing remarks, man, when it comes to attitude, just understand that it either serves you or it binds you. That's it. Your attitude either serves you in a sense that, again, you see the situation as an opportunity, whether it be to learn, whether it be to grow, or it can hold you in the chains of your past self. If you don't like what you've been having, you got to do something different at the end of the day.
Yeah.
I like that. You can't say like either serves you or slaves you.
That's actually better.
That's when I saw you do that. I was like, oh, no. Yeah.
Nah, I appreciate that, bro.
Heavy.
For sure. It's always a pleasure rapping with you guys, man.
Likewise.
Our listeners.
These bars y'all be dropping.
Yeah. Man, so,
I'm a big rap guy. I used to listen to battle rap all the time, but now the knowledge bars is me going. Like, I be like, oh, I learned so much from y'all, man. I ain't gonna hold you.
And vice versa. You're inspiration. Inspiration.
Yeah.
All right, gentlemen. Till next time.
Love is love.
There you go. It's easy.
Gang. It's easy. It's peasy. It's Greek.